When beginning your payroll process, the first step is checking timesheets to make sure they're complete and correct. If there are any issues, RotaCloud will help bring them to your attention so you know what needs checking and what doesn't. Grey warnings next to an employee's name show entries in need of manager approval. The number in the circle will tell you how many need attention. These could be obtained from a smartphone, a terminal, or entered manually by the employee if you allow them. If you're a manager-level staff member with the permission to view and edit timesheets, then you'll only see your own employees in this list, whereas admins will be able to see all staff. When you've loaded up the timesheet, unapproved entries show with a yellow highlight. You can approve these entries individually by clicking on the three dots to open the menu and clicking Approve. This menu can also be used to unapprove it, delete it, see more info, or add notes. If you're happy with all unapproved entries, then you can use the green Approve button at the top of the page to approve them all in one go. Approved days will show with a white background, so you can easily keep track of what's already been approved. An employee will no longer be able to make any edits to that shift, whether by clocking in or out, or manually on their timesheet. Any discrepancies between the scheduled time and the actual time will have their own warning triangle. This could either be lateness or earliness. It's a great way to stay aware of any differences. You can change the length of time that's considered a discrepancy in your settings menu. And that's it for these grey warnings. They're just a recommendation from the system that you check each time an employee clocks in. As well as the grey icons, a yellow icon denotes missing information on a timesheet, and this one's more important when it comes to paying your employees accurately. A warning icon will show next to each area of the timesheet with missing info. To see more about what's missing, you can hover your mouse over this icon. This can be a forgotten clock in, clock out, or an entirely missing record. To correct any of these issues, enter the missing info by typing into the timesheet. If you want to simply copy the scheduled shift from the rota into the timesheet, click on the green plus icon here. If an employee is paid hourly and has paid leave, it may also be that hours need to be added to the timesheet to process their holiday pay. In this case, add them into the hours paid column here. It's in this hours paid column that you'll see the total number of hours for each shift. If breaks are unpaid, then they'll be excluded from this figure. The hours here are expressed as a decimal, so they can be used to calculate staff pay using their hourly rates. This decimal figure in the hours paid column and the number of minutes in the break column on the timesheet can be rounded. This can be set up in your settings menu. You can choose to round these figures up, down, or both, and you can choose to what degree they're rounded. Currencies can also be rounded in the same way as hours and breaks. Whether you choose to round them or not, the break time is shown in minutes. You can have breaks automatically deducted from timesheets, or you can have staff clock in and out of breaks manually. The setting to change this is found here in the settings page. If staff are manually clocking in, then you can see the exact times of the employee's break by hovering your mouse over this column. You can also add a note to any timesheet entry to refer to later. This is done by opening the menu to the right of the entry. These notes are visible by hovering your mouse over the speech bubble icon, and they'll also be included in reports so you can use them for whatever it is you might need. Notes and lateness are added in the same way. However, setting the status as late lets you enter a time for how many minutes late the employee was. It'll show clearly on the timesheet, and you're still able to make a note containing more information. You can also set up a threshold for clock-ins to automatically be categorized as late in your system settings. Perhaps more importantly than it appearing on the timesheet, when marked as late, a shift will contribute to an employee's lateness report. This report contains everything you're likely to need when dealing with a lateness problem, including the number of instances, their average length, and percentages of shifts affected. Discussing lateness in a disciplinary situation can be difficult, so having this data available can be really helpful in what's otherwise a sensitive conversation. When you've corrected any errors and made any notes you need, you should see a page full of green ticks next to all names. When all timesheets are processed, you can then lock the timesheet and generate your payroll export report. Click the lock icon here. Locking a timesheet stops anyone from making any more changes to it, including staff clocking into shifts and manual edits to the timesheets. Locking the timesheet can be done by an admin or a manager who has the Manage Timesheets and View Payroll Reports permission. The date and time of when a timesheet's locked or unlocked is stored, as well as who did it. This can be seen by hovering over the lock icon here. Once your timesheet's locked, you can generate your payroll export report. This report totals an employee's standard, overtime, and leave hours before providing a figure for total pay. The editable columns on this report are the overtime and the total pay columns. All others use data from the timesheets, so if something looks out of place, please refer back to the attendance page to correct it. To adjust the number of hours of overtime for an employee, click in the overtime column and type a new figure. When doing this, the total hours will always stay the same to match the number of hours on the timesheet. The standard hours will automatically readjust. If the figures for standard or total hours seem wrong, please check the employee's attendance page. When you're making any changes to figures on this report, you'll see a green M appear in the field denoting a manual change. You can reset the figure back to the automatically calculated one by clicking on the M itself. RotorCloud can calculate your overtime automatically. However, owing to how these calculations vary from business to business, we recommend you speak to us via the live chat in order to get this set up in the right way for you. In addition to the overtime column, each employee's total pay column can also be edited. When you click in a total pay cell, you'll see a pop-up breaking down how this figure's been calculated, including salaries, hourly wages, and per-shift payments. This can be useful if you think that the amount paid seems incorrect, as checking this will show you how the total pay figure's been reached with the data that's on staff's timesheets. As with the overtime column, any manual changes will be highlighted with the green M, and this can be clicked to reset it. If you've set your currencies to be rounded, then this will affect the total pay figure, so consider this if the figure doesn't match what you expect. Once you're happy with your report, it's time to finalize it. Similar to locking the timesheet, this will prevent any changes being made. However, this can only be done by an admin. It's an important step in maintaining secure reports, so we recommend you always lock and finalize. Finalizing will ensure past pay periods aren't affected when you make any changes to an employee's profile, such as a pay rise or a change in working pattern. Finalizing is also when accrued holidays are added to staff's balances. If you have staff that accrue, you'll be shown a summary of how many hours of holiday each person's accrued. We have a lot more information on holiday accrual available in our help articles. If you need to make any changes, unfinalizing the payroll report and unlocking the timesheet can be done in the same way as locking them. Any accrued holiday in this pay period will be removed when you do this and can be re-added when you finalize again. The final step of the process is to export your data to be sent to your payroll software or department. Click the download button in the upper right corner. We offer a few different formats depending on what you need out of the report. The payroll export has the same content as the report shown on RotorCloud. However, if you need a report that displays multiple pay rates for roles, then the role breakdown report will be for you. If you use Sage 50 as your payroll software, we have reports specifically built to be used with it. Using RotorCloud alongside Sage 50 requires you to add your pay elements from Sage to your account, so RotorCloud can create a report that'll import straight into Sage 50 with no hassle. If you'd like more information setting this up, please take a look at the Sage 50 section in our help articles. And there you have it. That's the full payroll process you'll do in RotorCloud each period. If you have any questions, then please don't hesitate to contact us via our live chat, where we'll be happy to help you with anything you need.